tariff for tariff, but we want to see what he's going to do on April the 2nd. As we've seen over a number of months, it's on again, off again, and he said he wasn't going to do it till April 2nd. Well, he launched an early attack, which is not surprising, but I've asked the Prime Minister to convene an FMM call as soon as possible, and recommended early next week, possibly Monday, and discuss this with the other premiers to make sure we take a Team Canada approach to this. But I can tell you, we just aren't going to roll over. We're going to retaliate, and he's going to feel the pain from the American people. We have two options here. We either roll over as a country, and he runs us over 15 times and gets what he wants, or we feel a little bit of pain and we fight like we've never fought before. I do not want to hurt other provinces on that, but I can assure you one thing, we're going to make sure that we inflict as much pain as possible to the American people without inflicting pain on the Canadian population. You know, all he's doing is hurting the American people. He thinks the cost is going to go down for automobiles in the U.S. It's the total opposite. The costs are going to go skyrocketing. It keeps calling out countries. He's really pointing us out for the most part. Ontario, 50% of the parts within the vehicles are American. And, you know, how do you dissect? They were showing me drawings today of all the different parts from all over the world, by the way, that goes in one vehicle. That 65 billion of tariffs that we have on the table that we can launch towards the U.S., we have to run through every tariff and minimize the pain for Canadians, maximize the pain for Americans. And I feel terrible for the Americans, but it's one person, it's President Trump, that's creating this chaos.
Shalom. All praises, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Hakwadash, double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders, great millstone, and salutations to Akim pushing this word in all sincerity and honesty, and the whole full elect constantly enduring. Shalom. My name is Kara Allah, and Lord, this makes for edifying lesson. Now, that was Dole Ford, the premier of Ontario over there in Canada. All right, now Canada and America, you know, are basically in a tariff war, okay, and it's gonna lead to the effects is gonna affect the people in America the most. All right, like he said it in his interview. He said, you know, he feels bad for the American people. Okay, now all these, a lot of these things are, most of these things are systematically created, okay, right, for the dollar to collapse, stock market to collapse, and ultimately to bring in that new system, which consists of, you know, the beast system, which consists of the RFID microchip, which is the mark of the beast, according to Revelations 13. Okay, but on our way to this chaos, which things are bad, and it's only going to get worse. Inflation, a lot of job losses. Okay, and it's everything is scriptural and biblical. Okay, so this is why we don't mind the title "Prophets of Doom," because, you know, at least we prophesied according to the scriptures. All right, so everything basically been saying through the Spirit is coming to pass. Okay, so I'm getting through the scriptures, and Lawrence makes for edifying lesson. Jeremiah 28:8, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So we know about great kingdoms. These kingdoms always had prophets prophesying against them. Okay, so you got the Assyrians, Babylonians, the Medo-Persians, the Greeks, the Romans. All right, and you know, in the Roman Empire, you had, you know, the prophets. Okay, you had Yahweh Shai, you had the the you had the disciples, okay, and you had other followers that prophesied against Rome. You know, you had Paul, okay, and other prophets that prophesied against Rome. It's the same. It's the same thing in this time, okay. Which America is an extension of the Roman Empire, right? But this is the last leg of the Roman Empire, all right? This is the last rulership. After this rulership is going to be the Lord, the Most High, ruling. Okay, so it says, and against great kingdoms of war, it's going to be the Most High and Israel ruling under the Most High and the Son, all right? It says, and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. Right now being a time of war. Now we see Canada is going in, or is in a tariff war with America. All right. Now it's gonna be the same thing with Mexico. It's gonna be the same thing with China. Right. In all these different countries, you know, and it's really because Trump is starting the whole thing, but the spirit is having Trump start these things, man. It's like the Lord is on Trump to prepare for war. All right, so it says the great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence, right? Evils, right? There's gonna be famines. A lot of it's gonna be man-made famines, but ultimately, anyways, it's still plagues from the Most High on down, judgment, all right, and of pestilence, diseases, sickness, okay. It says the prophets which prophesy of peace, when the word of the prophet shall come to pass, then shall the prophet be known that the Lord has truly sent him. Yeah, and the peace is going to come after the destruction, all right. We're not going to tell you peace is now and there's not going to be a Jacob's trouble. No, there's going to be a Jacob's trouble. There's going to be famines. There's going to be pestilence, earthquakes, diseases. All right. There's going to be the dollar's going to collapse. There's going to be hyperinflation. It's going to get real bad and real ugly out here. We're going to have people invading all the people's homes, as it says in the scriptures. This is 2 Ezra 15. The point is in 19. But I can read verse 1. It says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. So the Lord put the spirit on his people, right? On the prophets to push this word. All right, the prophets, which you have to be an Israelite, first of all. The Lord ain't dealing with heathen nations. Okay. The Lord might have a heathen say something prophetic, but the actual prophets would come out of the 12 tribes of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, or to make up the 12 lost tribes of the nation of Israel. It says, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. So these words are faithful and true, meaning they are going to come to pass. That's why the scripture says, wait ye upon me. Okay, have patience. So let me jump down now to 19. I jumped to 17. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right, this is going into martial law, right? Checkpoints and whatnot, like the camera systems, right? It's cameras throughout the city. It's really for martial law, all right, to keep an eye on everything that's going on. There's a show right now on I think it's Prime. It's called Person of Interest, and you can check that out, and that shows you how accurate the camera systems are. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Yeah, men gonna be in a fearful state. A lot of these men are proud because they think they have protection under the government, right? Their rights. You know, we have the right to bear arms and whatnot. You have the freedom of speech. Okay, they're gonna take all those things away, and men are gonna be vulnerable, put in vulnerable state because why? They had faith in the system, but they didn't have faith in the Most High, in the Son. Right? Houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Your houses are gonna be destroyed. People are gonna lose their homes. They're gonna be taking homes away. It's a law where they could just take your house if they feel they need it. Okay, it's called eminent domain. It says a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Right? So houses, going back up, it says houses shall be destroyed. That's also going into war. You know, through war, through crisis. All right? And then it says here in verse 19, you know, due to famine, all right, a lack of bread, due to famines, your house is going to be destroyed. People breaking in your house, knocking on the doors, burning your house down, right? Smoking you and your family out for goods because their family needs it. So it's becoming into some real tough times of trials and tribulations. Ecclesiastes 12:1 says, remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. The Creator is the Most High, Yahweh, and the Son, Yahweh Shai. Okay? Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Okay? Yahweh, the Most High, through the name of Yahweh Shai, because Yahweh Shai is the mediator between us and the Most High. We can't just go to the Most High. Okay? Remember now thy Creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not. Yeah, we pushing them evil days. People gonna start calling upon that name in the evil days, but it's gonna be too late. It says, while the evil days come not. So you're supposed to be out there in the highways and byways pushing this word now, warning the people. Nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. The years draw nigh, and thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Okay? So remember that one more time. It says, remember not thy Creator in the days of thy youth, when you have in other words, when you have strength to do the works. You know, when you go out there on the highways and byways, you got to have strength to do it. It says, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. Right, and that's going to be when it's too late. You know, the Lord didn't have no need for you to do the works if you ain't do it when he told you to do it. Okay? It says, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. Going into wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Right? When you see the sunlight, moon, stars. Okay? In the day, because why? This truth is not going to be available all the time. Right? Time Draco's trouble. We ain't going to be out there on highways and byways. We're going to be as pilgrims. Okay? And then the internet's going to be shut down. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, with the keepers of the house, you're going into your leaders, you know, your government, the elites, right? They're going to tremble because they know this place is out of here. This place is about to be destroyed. This is the end of this kingdom, end of this age. It says, and the strong men shall bow themselves. Right, men are gonna be simple in those days. Oh, you got these men online talking about how to make $1 million and how to have how to treat a woman and how to survive in this jungle. Men are gonna be in these last days. These men are gonna be simple. Okay, they're gonna be confused. It says, and the grinders cease because they are few. The workforce is going to slow down, and that's happening now. All right, AI technology, the lack of employment, all these things and now inflation is going to play a major role also. All these things is going to be the reason why a lot of people is going to be out of work, right? You had Trump, he just canceled the equity thing, okay? And that was for a lot of you so-called Negroes, not just the Negroes, but also, people of different nations that benefited all for the equality, equity, and I forgot the other one, but who cares? We expect Esau to do it because we know he's the devil, right? It says, grinders cease because there are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. All right, going into the future, because some people want to do certain jobs, go to school for certain careers, right? Whether you certain skills, but all that's coming to naught. You don't know nowadays. You don't know how you gonna get a job nowadays. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinder is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and the daughters of music shall be brought low. Doors shut in the street, we've seen that. Okay, the grinder is low right now, and it's going to get worse. A lot of homeless people out here. A lot of people are losing their homes. It's insane. I already seen families sleeping on the subway. It says, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Even time even that 2019 situation, that small era, people lost their homes behind that. Why? Trusting in their government. It says, and all the daughters of the music shall be brought low. And the music is at its worst point so far. Got drill music, and you can't understand what people are saying, and they all rap about violence. So they're pushing that negative vibration out there. All right, so the music is at a low state right now. All the musicians are drug addicts, alcoholics, criminals. All right.